As it was once said in a Disney movie, let's get down to business.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. This is not from a Disney movie.
Yeah. Well, when you said, well, it was once said, I was like, you son of a bitch. That's what I was going to say. I'll drop that at a later time period.
Yes. Alright, so before we get too off tangent, literally at the beginning of the episode, because we're so good at that. Hey guys, this is once again Lastbrohican and
Luxbu.
And we are coming at you with another podcast episode. I wish I knew the number, but we are so discombobulated with this that I'm just gonna say it's the next one. I'll let SoundCloud and iTunes tell me what it is, because I don't know.
6. Call me SoundCloud and iTunes.
Okay, we'll say 6, and if Ryan's wrong or whoever he is, we will yell at him.
Who's this Ryan guy?
Who is this dude?
Some crazy fan, I think.
All right, so what we're talking about today was a game I actually found out was coming out last week, and that is The Guild 3. Now, that is 3. So
I did 4 for a second.
So what that means, though, is, like, at least for us, The Guild is one of those games to me that has always gotten an unfair rep. I think The Guild is just such an underrated game, like one of those like one of the best games you'll never play sort of category.
I was gonna say, like, a bad rep. I'm not really sure what rep it has in terms of it being bad, but I can definitely vibe with. It's probably the game that no one's ever played.
Yeah,
or at least it's not as popular as it should be. Well,
I was gonna say, because it initially when The Guild 2 came out, and when the Guild 2 came out,
Everyone, listen to Lastbrohican's keyboard.
Yes, listen to my keyboard, everyone.
Typewriter from 18. Actually,
wow.
The Guild 2 actually came out is when his keyboard was made.
So take a random stab as to when The Guild 2 came out.
I was going to say 2009. I think I remember you playing it like in high school, so maybe earlier than that.
2006.
I was going to say 2007.
The game is nearly 10 years old right now. It came out in September of 2006.
This game is Guild 2 is like the equivalent of Diablo 2 in terms of, like, we need another one to come out.
Yeah, right? So what I was going to say was, I remember when this game came out and I bought it. You remember the old video game channel, G4 Gaming?
Oh, yeah.
And then there was the show called X-Play, and it was with like that Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb. And I remember they reviewed Guild 2, and they shat on it.
What?
They gave it, like, most of the ratings I see right here that I pulled up on Google, the highest one is a 3.9 out of 5. Otherwise, it's just a 3 out of 5 for most of them. And the biggest thing that they said about it was like, oh, well, the glitches make it pretty crazy. And I kind of have to agree. The game has always been really glitchy. I can see that. Not as bad as what they were trying to say, because, I mean, like, you and I have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly.
We're pretty tolerable gentlemen when we play our video games.
Yeah, right? And, I mean, especially how deep we've waded into the pool of early access. I mean, we've definitely seen much worse. And, so, like, a lot of the bugs that I remember them talking about are just things that I would not even, like, weren't even that big. Like, some of the glitches I found rather comical, with the Guild 2. So, the Guild 2, for those of you who don't even know what it is, we are really bad at introducing that sometimes.
I was thinking that too. Like, if you don't know what the Guild 2 is, you're probably not watching this video.
That's true. That is true. But the genre is like a simulation game. It's a life simulation game. Think of like The Sims, but a little bit more raw, set in like the medieval Renaissance times. That is about.
Yeah, it's actually The Sims is a great thing, a great incorporation. It's like it's standalone. I mean, I don't think I've played another video game like this game that's as good as this one.
No,
there might be something out there that might be it might be like 2D or something. But
yeah, no, it does definitely sit on its own, and that's why I think like because it's such its own game, like it doesn't really copy a whole lot, that it's such a bummer that it's not as well received as it honestly should be. You know, I think that the game really has a lot to bring, and it does suck to know that, you know, so few people actually enjoy and play it. So,
I mean, PC gaming back in 2006 too, like, wasn't as popular as it is now.
True.
I mean, you know, you gotta cut a little slack to a game from that time period.
No, you're right. I mean, that was definitely, you could probably say, in like one of the darker times of PC gaming. That's when it was on the downturn. So, but anyways, gosh, we are sometimes so crazy with this. We need to talk about, you know, so 2006, the Guild 2 came out. Just a couple weeks ago, recent history, they announced the Guild 3. 10 years later, the next sequel, the three-part trilogy right now is coming out. And I was streaming on Twitch when one of the guys who was viewing me was talking about it, and I was like, no way, there's a third one coming out. I thought that game died, and I was so stoked to already see what they have to offer. I mean, there's already some very different things going on with the Guild 3 that weren't in the Guild 2. So I know
I already have one like that. I'm super excited about.
Kick it off, baby. Kick it off.
Okay, well, I have to remember what it was. What was it?
Do you want me to just?
Oh yeah, no, it was societies. They're bringing back. They're making societies.
Yes.
So it's kind of like I think Oblivion or Skyrim, where you have, you know, like kind of, you got like the Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, but then you have the Thieves Guild that no one's ever heard of, and it's kind of what the societies are. The societies are like well-known official societies, and then you have the secret ones, like the Brotherhood of Light, which I'm kind of interested in hearing more about, and then obviously like Guild of Thieves and stuff. But that is the one. I was looking for something like this because otherwise, I mean, the game sounds just like it's going to be a continuation. But I think the societies is going to be that X factor for Guild 3 that I can't wait to test out and see what it can do.
To me, it sounded like there was a few things that they are tweaking. I mean, the first thing I saw in the features on the website that they have for the Guild 3, the AI system, the EHE, the Evolutive Human Emulator, the new AI system in the Guild 3 is adaptive, dependent on the 6 trait system. And with said AI, behavioral patterns will evolve because of its inherent ability to adapt to any given desire, or any given need and desire system. So as soon as that's the first thing they tee it off with. And I think, as I said, you know, what a lot of critics said about it, and what my biggest gripe about it is that sometimes the AI in the game is just incredibly clunky. You know, like sometimes in a comical sense in the Guild 2. Like, I remember, you know, one anecdote I have is when they introduced the doctor profession, because that wasn't in the original Guild 2. That was something in one of the expansions. And the only doctor we had in town, like, just basically took an unending holiday. You know, like, never showed up. And so the Black Death hit the town, and no one could get cured, and everyone was dropping like flies. Like, I remember, like, my guy could not find a suitable wife, and, like, my dynasty was dwindling out just because, like, every single peasant in the town had the Black Death and was dying within a few days. Like, it was...
Isn't that normally how it is nowadays? Like, I can barely get a hold of my doctor. Not that I ever need to call him or anything, but, you know, I mean, shit, doctors work hard.
They do. But the guy was never there, and, like, it was just, like, no one, like, I could not find him. I had no idea where he went to, and, like, so I'm hoping in seeing that the reason why this has been on such a DL, like the guild and all that, is they're really trying to polish this game out. But I mean, who knows when it's actually going to release? I know the Steam
says 2016. So
yeah,
I mean, it sounds very unconfirmed, and if anything, like I'm expecting no earlier than Q4 of 2016.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I mean, whenever a game announces itself, like, I'm pretty hopeful. Like, Civ 6 gave a day, a month, and a year. It gave it, like, the middle of October 2016.
I thought it was October, like, 26.
Might be something like that.
19 something.
Like, so, feeling pretty confident they're gonna hit that date, Like, I'm not like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna hit that. But then when they move out to, like, a month, then I'm like, this is like GTA 5, like, we could definitely see some pushbacks on this. And then when they just say a year, I'm like, I don't know. I can totally see this.
That's kind of like No Man's Sky, I'm pretty sure. No Man's Sky said 2015 coming to your PC. And then, like, I was watching the video today, and I was like, man, we sound really aged and outdated because it's obviously middle of June is when it's coming out now, but I mean, perfect point. We don't know when it's going to come out, but I hope that they at least stick to the year because we're in that year right now.
Yeah, right. I mean, the guy I was talking to who showed me this, it was like, oh yeah, well, hopefully, they say 2016. I'm thinking like maybe June or July, and I was like, I don't know.
Man, do not buy a lottery ticket because you ain't lucky on that one.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if it's going to be that early. Like, that's a tough call. So, I mean, obviously, sooner the better, but I want to make sure it's a finished product.
So wait, what new professions are out there? Because I was looking at it, and, aside from, like, stonemason, it didn't seem like they were doing a whole lot.
All I know is that I think they removed a profession, is what I was told. That they removed the priest one. Because that one was a little overpowered. They
also, it looks like, at least from what I'm looking at from their own website, they removed the inn. There, the ability to make, like, a pub house or whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, those didn't really
unless
work
you truncate stuff. Well, that's what I'm doing right now.
Well, yeah, but I don't know, they didn't really work that well. Like,
yeah,
if there was more than one in a town, people always just lopsided to one. It wasn't like.
And there's usually always one too. But hey, that gives you that competition.
Yeah, true. But
and that's what I kind of like about the guild. It is fun to play when like a blacksmith or something, so you're not competing against armor or weapons, but
no, I agree with that.
Started playing the patron recently, and it was kind of fun to compete against somebody else and seeing patrons come to my place as opposed to the other guy.
Yeah, right. I agree with that.
By recently, I mean today I was doing that.
So, let's talk about some of the other features that they already have listed, though, besides what they're taking away. So, the next thing is city districts, and it says, for the features, new neighborhoods are being created within a city through political intervention and general rise in population or similar environmental circumstances.
And that's kind of like, see, the thing I love about Guild 2 is, and the first guild, and this is what Guild 3 is going to be, and probably a whole lot more, is the whole city is adaptive based on the inhabitants of the city. Mm-hmm. So you might start in, like, the village of New Amsterdam or whatever. And then just based on how well the city grows, from the market, it'll go from a village to a town, and then it'll upgrade from a town to whatever the next one is, and then after that it's a city, and it's kind of like, it's almost kind of cool to be a part of that growth within the city. Yeah, right. I guess, and you just feel like you have a really big impact on that aspect.
I agree.
You're this little small business owner, but you're really helping with the prosperity of your own town. And then on top of that, you marry an alchemist who can make bombs for you, and then you can go blow up your enemies. It's like, who doesn't like this kind of game?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was such ahead of its time. Honestly, thinking about a game like this, it came out in 2006.
And the next game I want to see after this one is Majesty 3, and I'm only mentioning that because it's going back to your Sims reference. I think this game is more like Majesty in the Sims, where it's basically like a free roam simulator, but since you can control at least one unit or dynasty, that's kind of how it is.
I got you. I got you on that. So let's look at the next feature, which is.
I mean, they have a lot of scenarios. I'm not really sure how I feel about scenarios. Do they have scenarios in Guild 2?
I don't know.
Is that going to be kind of new? I always just felt like it was kind of a...
Guild 2 was mainly just kind of like a sandbox thing. You could kind of choose like different things for victory, but I mean...
Yeah, so, I mean, potentially. You know what...
They do have a sandbox, it says, though.
I sure hope so. It's probably going to be the only thing I play. One of their things, though, is their scenarios... They're bringing in London, and then they're also bringing in the Duchy of Burgundy.
Mm.
Now, you being the historical guy, I was hoping to hear your 2 cents on that.
What about the Duchy of Burgundy, though?
I'll read it verbatim here.
Okay.
The mighty Duchy of Burgundy belongs to the Kingdom of France. Even though its dukes have been demanding their independence to be restored for some time and will not back off from drawing their swords to achieve their aim. However, most of the time they choose their path of intrigues in France and the Holy Roman Empire and in the Vatican. Boom, go. Go ahead. Yeah, I'll just let you roll.
So what it sounds like and what it's bringing it back to is, once again, in like the newer expansions of the Guild 2, there was a lot more of like country intrigue. Like if countries went to war with each other, you could like invest money into like mercenaries to go fight for you and stuff like that. So hopefully they can kind of expand on that. That would be
awesome, actually.
I would love to see the combat system a bit more evolved, where it isn't just like 2 dudes duking it on the street, and like having like, you know, actual even small skirmishes. I think would be cool to see. I mean, because you know, otherwise it gets very RPG like, in the sense of like Diablo or something, where like fights are really just reduced to like 2 or 3 dudes hitting on one target. You know, it's not like a. It's not.
Well,
like
I mean, at that point too, it's.
That,
I mean, it's from Guild 2. It was pretty much, you know, a complete stat thing where it's based on the gear you own and then your level. Yeah. So, and I mean, your level played a huge part. Like,
played a massive part.
Like, if I was level 3 and I was completely decked out in, you know, strength or whatever, basically I was made to kick your ass. And you were level 5 and you were just all decked in charisma, you would still win. And you could still have only your fist because you just had so much health. Yeah,
I was about to say, because I mean, like, the levels really weren't so much about, like, they kind of helped you with, like, you know, your crafting or your rhetoric or your charisma, but otherwise it was like, it was really just boiled down to health. And so if you were a low-level rogue trying to like make your own out on the streets, you know, trying to fight a dude that was level 10 was like raid boss status. You know, you needed a whole army to go against that dude.
Playing a rogue in Guild 2 is a huge gamble, because either you were going to be really successful or like you were not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I first started playing that game, I remember like I'd play rogue and I would just go like way too hard in the paint of just doing illegal stuff, and then my guy would always get like sentenced to court in like the first 2 years of like sentenced to death, and I'll be like, oh, well, who knew that you couldn't just maraud carts for days on end? And
I remember I used to have my guy like do other stuff, but I'd, you know, obviously make a rogue, and then I'd marry somebody and have her join my thieves guild. So she would, I mean, she wouldn't actually like be employed, but she'd help out with combat. And I just remember like the first time I did that, she got taken away and she was like tried for like 20 assaults, a couple of murders, and then she was thrown away forever. I was like, man, I ruined her.
Send it to a life of crime.
She was a scholar, and now look at her. She's in the prisons.
She's in the dungeons, just rotting away. Yep. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Now, also, the thing I see on this features list that I'm super excited about is multiplayer with up to 16 players. You and I feel like totally missed the mark in terms of really trying to enjoy the multiplayer. Obviously, we were able to do it once, but it wasn't easy. And I
felt like we had a really good time when we played together.
I'm not saying it wasn't fun. It was just hard to accomplish. We had to like LAN party that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Guild 2 because it's so old and outdated.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been a lot better if A, they made it easier, and then also B, because you can speed up time in the game just hitting the plus arrow, and it was much easier to coordinate that together. Sitting in the same room, like, okay, bro, I'm good. You can speed it up now, because otherwise it was just kind of. Otherwise, the game goes kind of slow, to be honest. At least in the first part of the game.
Mm-hmm. I agree. If
you can't speed it up, but yeah, I mean, I'm totally down to play this one again.
Oh,
multiplayer. At least try and get that going, but probably cannot get it going unless somebody brings back GameSpy Arcade, because that seemed to be the only thing that made the old fun ones work.
So what it's saying here is Guild 3 has its custom multiplayer integrated and connect to other Guild 3 players no matter where they bought the game. Every player will be able to play with each other, even on LAN versus LAN, or connected via internet will be possible. So
they're using Steam. Good for them.
Yeah, I think so. I think hopefully that is the game plan here, is that they will hopefully be using Steam, and all will be right in the world.
I gotta be honest. There's not a whole lot of information released on this game yet.
No, there's not.
And it kind of troubles me that they want to release a game, announce the game that it's going to be released this year, but don't have hardly any information at all. Which definitely tells me it's probably going to be like late May 2017. Quote me on that right now.
Wow, late May. So
late May 2017.
A year from now.
A year from now is when we're going to see it. They're going to announce it like November, and they're going to go, guys, we got to push it back, and they're going to push it back to like May. Late May 2017.
Wow.
Normally, when you have all this information here, I mean, there's only like a paragraph or two. Not that I'm complaining. I'm just saying that, like, I when I went to the website, I was really excited to read, like, in depth everything that this game has to offer, so I can just say, shut up and take my money, and then give him to it. But yeah, there's not a whole lot here.
I get you on that. That's all I'll say is that is a bold prediction. That is a bold prediction, okay. But I don't think you're completely off on that.
All right, maybe April. We'll see. But the other thing too is based off how they're wording the might and influence section for town council. Mm-hmm. It does sound like there's a lot. Because I mean, the other thing too is when you became a patron and then you try to get into like the city council, there wasn't really I guess a whole lot there, at least not a whole lot of like knowledge. So I really hope that they branch that out a little bit more and make things more important, I guess, and make each role like more standouty and have their own thing.
Well, I guess I think I see where you're coming from. For me, the only three, like, oh god, I played so much of this game that like the only three roles that had any real power were like the top three, and that was like the mayor, the like called like the essential, and then I forget what the non-military one was.
Executioner.
No, not the executioner, but there was basically those three people had immunity. Those people, like, one of them could command the guards, the other one could embezzle taxes, which is the governor. I forget what the other person did. But like those were the three people who actually had any real power in terms of doing anything and like using it to leverage themselves onto other families. So
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I hope everyone has a little bit more power and, in terms of just the market. Because, I mean, they're mentioning a customs master, a market master, a tax collector, more segregated duties that has, different governing bodies, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, otherwise it's like you're elected in office and it's like, oh, cool, what can I do? Oh, nothing.
Oh,
I can attend meetings. Sweet.
Yeah, right? Okay, yeah, he has like, I can attend meetings and get a yearly paycheck or a daily paycheck, and that's really about it.
And worth jack shit until you're one of those three roles.
Yeah, right. So, I guess if you're saying, like, actually having the role play into your daily life, or if you're like a tax collector, you actually have to go out and like, do things that a tax collector had to do. Like, I get that. So, I'm trying to see if there are any, like, huge features here that I'm like, oh my god, this is so much different.
It does seem like they did downgrade on the social ranks, but then again, I never actually got to aristocrat.
Yeah, well, the
But
social
they
ranks
said
are just
there's
insane.
3 social ranks: poor, citizen, and noble.
Yeah,
So you can actually buy the poor citizen rank, as opposed to being just, an alien.
See, I didn't know that. That kind of scares me that they watered it down that much.
That's what it seems like, and that's the one thing that I'm taking away from it. Just because it says, okay, wait. Actually, I'm wrong. Let me correct myself. I'm gonna read this paragraph or this sentence verbatim. You will find many titles and privileges divided into 3 ranks. So it sounds like they've.
Okay. So there might be. So
they've made it more.
So poor, citizen, and noble might be like the class, and then there are different ranks in that class. Okay.
Right. Yep, exactly.
Okay. All right.
And then
that's fine.
Then you get the appropriate garbs. So let's go to the garbs. There's poor garbs and citizen garbs. Holy shit!
What are you looking at right now?
I'm just kidding. It's under avatars and their properties, characters. It's at the bottom. The other cool thing too is for the skill tree, going back to the character themselves, you can specialize in becoming or you can specialize your fighting skill where you can become a duelist or a bodyguard, which almost sounds like you can employ yourself, and that's really like the one thing I want to see the Guild 3 do is diversify the amount of jobs that you can do, and you're not just obviously limited to. If you're a patron, just doing a farm or baking or running an inn or whatever the other 3 were that nobody else probably played.
You're a farmer. You could be an orchard and windmill.
Well, let's not ruin it for me, okay? I just
that's a guild too. That's at least what I remember from the old stuff. I don't know what the new stuff does or what you get for new professions. But
either.
So I think that kind of exhausts the list of the new features. So I mean,
they don't really have a whole lot here, at least for now. So I think we're gonna have to come back and do an update.
We probably will, but just to do a quick run through here, let's see here. What Guild 3 is going to have to offer is new AI system, secret societies and public societies, city districts, multiplayer, hopefully revamped, and some new skills with new classes and ranks. So hopefully many more to come. This game is not expected to release for another 6 months at least. Probably gonna be more.
8 months probably. And if you have no idea what we're actually talking about, and you actually made it this long, good on you. We're actually pretty good at talking. Lastbrohican, that's great. Try out the Guild 2, and if not, try out the first Guild. But computer probably have problems playing that one because it's so old. But try out Guild 2 and give it a whirl. Learn it a little bit. I mean, it's a simulation / strategy game, so it's one of the very rare standalone games today, and everyone should try it out. And that way you can be excited as we are for this one.
It is well worth your time. Well worth your time.
Absolutely.
So, all right, guys, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up for this podcast and stream and YouTube video. So, as always,
happy gaming, gamers.